Once upon a time, in a quaint little town, there lived two pug puppies named Winston and Churchill. These puppies were not just ordinary dogs. They were bundles of endless energy and mischief. Their owner, Mrs. Penelope, who was a kind-hearted lady, always found herself in a whirlwind of puppy-induced chaos. Winston, the smaller of the two, had a curious nature and a love for adventure. He would often lead his brother, Churchill, into all sorts of trouble. Whether it was digging up Mrs. Penelope's prized rose garden or chewing up the mailman's shoes, Winston was always at the center of it. Churchill, on the other hand, was a bit more laid back, but equally playful. He loved following his brother around, adding his own touch of mischief to whatever Winston was up to. His favorite pastime was stealing socks and hiding them in the most unexpected places. Every day, Mrs. Penelope would wake up to a new surprise. One day she found her kitchen in a mess, with flower paw prints leading away from an overturned bag of flour. Another day, she discovered her living room turned into a fortress of chewed-up cushions. Despite the chaos, Mrs. Penelope couldn't stay mad at them for long. Their adorable faces and loving cuddles always melted her heart. She started taking them on long walks and playing fetch in the park, which helped burn off some of their boundless energy. One sunny afternoon, Mrs. Penelope decided to enroll Winston and Churchill in a puppy training class. To her surprise, they turned out to be quick learners. They mastered basic commands and even learned a few tricks, like giving high fives and rolling over. The instructor was impressed by their intelligence and playful spirit. As time passed, Winston and Churchill became well-behaved. Well, mostly. And Mrs. Penelope couldn't imagine her life without them. They brought joy, laughter, and a fair bit of craziness to her days. In the end, Mrs. Penelope realized that even though they drove her crazy sometimes, their love and companionship were worth every bit of mischief. And so, Winston and Churchill lived happily ever after, continuing to play and bring smiles to everyone they met. Their adventures were many and their bond unbreakable, as they became the most beloved pugs in the town.